Hello, I'm Matthew Ward, and I'm here to tell you about the welding code of ethics and how it relates to moral values. Overall, welding is the bonding of two metals by heating them up and mixing them together. And all around the city and where we live today, you'll find welds, whether it's on like railings. Sometimes it puts buildings together, iron workers, and also the car you drive every single day. There's welds all over that to hold that together and make it safe. The Code of Ethics is a written set of rules and guidelines set to govern people who are in authority. The first principle that I chose out of the Welding Code of Ethics is integrity. Integrity in welding can be very important when it comes to quality of work and honesty with the employer. So for example, after a long day of work, there could be a welder who is working on like a railing, for example, like in a park or on the side of a building. And if he is getting tired of working all day and he starts to do less quality of work, doing partial welds or something like that, that could end up leading on to the inspector, which it could just not pass inspection. But in the code, it states that bribery is not allowed when it comes to inspections from the welder standpoint itself. So for example, if the welder slipped the inspector $20 to say, hey man, I'm really tired, can you just say these welds pass right and get out of here on this Friday? That is going against the Welding Code of Ethics. The second principle I chose out of the Welding Code of Ethics is responsibility to the public. Responsibility to the public actually ties in with integrity, being so of more along the lines of the inspector side of things. So this is very important because it leads to the inspector who is inspecting those welds to be more honest and follow the set rules of guidelines and specs of the weld in this case. Because if, for example, it is a railing that's going to go on the side of the building, if the inspector doesn't do his job and doesn't do a full inspection to the set guidelines of how that weld should be, that could lead to be a threat to the public safety in that area. The third principle that I chose out of the Welding Code of Ethics is unauthorized practice. It is very important because, if someone was unauthorized to do a certain job, whether it's a railing, putting together a car, or even ironworks of a building, that could lead to that item failing on someone in the public or whatever. So practically, if someone was unauthorized and didn't have the certain certifications, and they were hired to do a certain job, that could be happening because of a mistake, or that could happen because they were limited on people and they're just scrounging around as many people as they could find. But that goes against the Welding Code of Ethics because that shouldn't be happening, and that could lead to an issue down the road. The ethical level of importance of welding can overall vary on the field of job. However, the middle ground would probably be the currently attainable level. This job is definitely more important than the typical grocery bagger. However, it is not as high up as for, say, a heart surgeon would be, because that could really, hurt someone if they did not do their job correctly. Overall, an issue that can be faced in welding in general can be the fact that the unqualityness of the weld. So if the welder itself does not do its, proper quality and integrity of the weld, it could end up being something like this. So for example here, if this was supposed to be like a 3-point weld where you're supposed to have a weld here, there, and on the back side, well, however, here, I did not do that right. So in theory, this weld could not be right in integrity. In theory, it could just snap right off that easily because of the fact that it was not welded fully all the way around. It was just globbed on really quickly and, wasn't fully done. So overall, I'll show you what overall would be a more integrity side of welding, which would be done fully. As I said in the last clip about the integrity of this weld being a 3-point weld, here I did it properly where it has a full weld here, and on the back side, and as you can see from the last video, it does not want to break, and this would be passing inspection in the case. From doing this video project, I was able to learn a lot about the Code of Ethics and what it means to my career that I'm planning on going to in the future. I was able to learn about different key points and the important parts of the Code of Ethics that applies to my career. It was very interesting, and it gives me a different view on how the job should be done.